So as soon as he came back on the unit, I rushed him. I didn't even tell my homeboys I was going to get off. I just got off, ended up going to the hole, which there was called the caja, the box.
You're staying in the hole for as long as it takes to break up your little gang, Santana.
There was nothing the system could do to stop me.
And did a few days there, came back, and it was what it was, man. Got right back in the mix, and we ended up getting transferred to the main line. And from there, it was all-out war. You know, it was 3 years of pure war, everyday fighting behind handball courts, in any blinds that we could find. We'd go as far as to getting on our knees in a closet, and grabbing each other's heads and just punching each other's faces. Grabbing each other's heads and just punching each other's faces. Whatever we could do to try to get away with it, and if we couldn't get away with it, we'd do it anyways. And eventually, over time, more Northerners started to come, more Norteños started to come from other places. We started to accumulate a few numbers. And I'm not gonna lie, man, a lot of guys would get there, they'd fall off the wayside, they didn't want to gangbang all of a sudden. Their eyes were opened. But we weren't having none of that, man. We were about what we were about, and those that stood with us, those were the ones we were going to strive with.
But to the subject, money, is that this Vato right here, money, he was never no hitter, money. When he was in YA, he went to the drug program. Like, boy, he didn't go to like the main line with all the hitters, and he wasn't involved with all the riots, all shit. This guy got in one riot. There was 10 Vatos there in this riot, money. Monchis will tell you, 10 dudes. After that first riot, 5 stopped banging, money. You know what I'm saying? And this Vato, Gunnerz, Skinner, whatever the fuck his name is, money, he's one of them dudes that stopped banging in YA, money, and basically was a level and went to a drug program. So when he's telling you all these stories about the craziest Southsider he ever met, the craziest Crip in YA, it's all bullshit. You can't be with the craziest people if you're over there in the drug program. The craziest people were on the linea over there pushing the line and putting in work, money. So, you know, this Vato tells you guys a bunch of stories. I know all you guys like that shit, and everyone wants to hear fake-ass stories and all that type of shit. That's your motherfucking cup of fucking tea, cup of coffee, however you like it, baby, with or without sugar, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, this dude right here, I think he's just going a little bit too far with some of his little punk ass shows that he feels like he can say whatever the fuck he wants, man. And I don't like the shit.
Do the dog catcher, baby, do the dog catcher.
Yeah, we had been hearing whispers. You know, some of us had family members in prison that would write us, and we were hearing whispers and that this is what was going on in prison, but we didn't think it would trickle down into YA as quickly as it did. But I mean, as soon as some of these youngsters in YA, these Bulldogs, heard it, they jumped right on it and got in the mix, and they split. And that was different, bro. That was different. Because when they did this, man, it was all-out war. And now it was personal. Now, some of these same guys that you walked the yard with, that you broke bread with, that had your back, you had their back, were now disrespecting you or spitting in your face or turning around and saying, we're no longer a part of what you represent. And so it became personal, man. So a lot of those melees and a lot of those riots were, I would say, more vicious in nature, because you knew these guys and you knew what they were about. They weren't easy. They weren't slouches. They weren't, you know, you knew this guy, this particular guy. Shout out to my boy Dreamer from Corcoran. He knows what's up.
Shout out to my boy Dreamer from Corcoran. He knows what's up.
Shout out to my boy Dreamer from Corcoran. He knows what's up.
Yeah, I knew some righteous ones. You know, I ran into some righteous ones. But this particular person that's out there that likes to throw himself out there like he was the one. I've talked to homies out here that, you know, they can't get a grasp of who the fuck he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But it's honest truth, because if it's not true, tell him to grab a good 2 or 3 Norteños that could vouch for his stories. You know what I'm saying? Which in his stories, all they are is his content, because the stories he's talking about, they're somebody else's stories. You know what I'm saying? They're not his war stories. They're somebody else's war stories. You know, that's what I know for a fact. You know what I'm saying? The only story that he has is how he was a victim, the victim that he really was. You know what I'm saying? And that's all he was actually a victim, bro. You know? nothing else but that.
I'm glad you brought that up, brother. Because apparently someone else was like trying to back his plate a while back, right? And apparently he wasn't victim. I'm gonna bring up some paperwork, right? I don't know if you've seen it or whatever, right? But some paperwork, they try to say that he wasn't victim number 2, and I mean it's right there in black and white. You know what I mean? You could tell just by reading.
Yes.
But
Yes, sir.
that's crazy. You know what I mean? But people want to know, is that black and white true? Even though, I mean, the case number's right there, everything's right there. They want to know if that's true. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know.
100% true. And this is why it's so true. Because I was that fucking one that name is on that paper. That's mine. That's my name right there. Yeah, I was the one that did the time for it, you know? So if anybody should know, it's me, right? You know what I'm saying? I went to prison for that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm not talking about the rest of the victims. I'm talking about his ass. His ass wants to put himself out there that he's Mr. fucking Talk Dog, that he's Mr. Active, that he's calling people degenerates, bro.
And he's dropping people leva.
He's dropping people leva. People that didn't rush. That didn't do this, that didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, homie. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. You know, you can't speak, bro. You can't speak like that. You know, I gave you a chance to be humble, bro. You know, when I didn't put it out there a long time ago, it's because I gave you an opportunity. I gave you the benefit of the doubt that you were a changed man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Honest truth. I was gonna put it out there. Once I heard his fucking name, why wouldn't I, right? But I gave him the benefit of the fucking doubt. I give him the benefit of the doubt to fucking 30-something years ago, whatever, you know. We were fucking kids, you know, whatever. We're underage, whatever. But then he don't stop him from getting at people because of when they were teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Joker, that I don't know where, and this and that, and how degenerate they were, and that he was super active, right? They calling shots, you know what I'm saying?
And thrown into a Thunderdome, man, thrown into a gladiator school where you have to either get it or get eaten up. And, you know, we continue to do that. So, you know, from there, all I could say is it was a wild ride. And I seen a lot of things in the California Youth Authority that'll boggle one's mind. You know, I seen a lot of incidences where people were hitting each other, man. I'm talking about with pieces. And this was my first taste of, okay, this is what it really entails to be a soldier or soldado for your group faction, right? This is what it is. So you're either going to tuck your tail and run, or you're going to stand your ground 10 toes down and put it down, right? And in my case, I was already there for 187, so I had a little up, meaning the guys already knew that I had killed an enemy or I was involved with killing an enemy. So they looked at me for some type of leadership or some type of, well, what do we do next? And I said, we pull out one of these and we get busy. That's what we're going to do next.
Can you take him to the infirmary? He's got something sticking out of his neck.
Yeah, and a lot of times, man, I was on the other end of that knife, man. I got hit three separate occasions. And it was all business, nothing personal. One thing I could say about being down there, man, was I never felt personal, meaning it never felt like I would talk to the Southsiders, you know, this anti-hostilities and things that they got going on now here, that's real prevalent in the California Department of Corrections. It was already happening back there. Back then. We were talking to each other. We'd bullshit. In some cases, we'd even play handball, man. But when it came time for business and it came time for warring, it was on, right? There was no one hesitated. If you hesitated, everyone was going to be on you. So I already was aware of the understanding of if one jump, all jump. You know, if a homeboy lags behind or he doesn't jump, well, we'll deal with him as soon as we're done dealing with these guys. And I've seen many occasions, man, where someone, you know, they hesitated or they just were a little too slow, man. And later on, we won't forget. We see everything. You know, after this melee, after this riot, after we wipe the mace out of our eyes, then we're going to come get you. We're going to come knocking at your door. And it happened. And every group segment was doing it, man. And so this is what prepared me as a youngster for prison. Because I knew at this point in time, and I'll tell you a little story, man. I ended up going from Nellis to Carville to narcotic stabbing. In Nellis. Probably was like my fourth one. He can't
survive that one.
Was it by accident?
and I caught a stabbing in Nellis. Probably was like my fourth one where they finally said, we're done. We're tired of you. You're out of here, buddy. And they shipped me up north, which is what I wanted.
And then he was super active, frankly calling shots. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's where it got me. And I could like, all right, some of the shit was funny to me.
Next time, look over your shoulder when you run. Hey, man, you kidding, man? I feel like a maniac. I don't see a scratch on you. Oh, you're kidding, man. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. You got that falling over a garbage can.
Avalo swung the battery pack and it left dust behind like it had dirt or dirt rocks in it. Then Avalo swung the battery pack a second time and it hit me on the left side of my forehead on the hairline. I then jumped out of the trash can. I then jumped out of the trash can. I then jumped out of the trash can and began to run to the day room with the rest of the crowd. And began to run to the day room with the rest of the crowd.
Look at that. Look at that. You got that falling over a garbage can. You calling me a liar? I'm calling you a lying chicken. Line up. Come on, come on, let's go. Come on, come on. Come on, let's go. Let me jump out and leave room to swing. Make it honest. Now you gonna run through, or do I have to come over there and drag you?
As I was trying to get out of the trash can, Avalo swung the battery pack and it left dust behind like it had dirt or rocks in it.
You lie, you say.
Then Avalo swung the battery pack a second time and it hit me on the left side of the forehead and on my hairline. I then jumped out of the trash can. I then jumped out of the trash can and began to run to the day room with the rest of the crowd.
Did we ever find them? You should have seen them when they hit the trees. They were tripping over wires and knocking each other down like 10 pins. And then when they dropped us in the alley, and they were blasting us with fireworks, I picked up this garbage can seat and I was running up the fire escape with brakes on. Hey, I thought you got busted. I didn't see you get out of the alley. Next time, look over your shoulder when you run.
Sometimes, right? Okay. But then lately he's been like for the past couple of months or so, you know, he's like acting like he's like he don't got shit on under in the closet, bro. Come on, homie. You know that. You know, that's why he was always talking about us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he knew I had that paperwork, but he should have. He should have known. You know what I'm saying? For real.
But look, shout out to my boy Dreamer from Corcoran. He knows what's up. Shout out to my boy Dreamer from Corcoran. He knows what's up. Hey, if I tell you guys something, I'm gonna always have something to stamp it. Okay, watch out. That's just what I do. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, bro. I don't need to lie to kick it. Shout out to my boy Dreamer from Corcoran. He knows what's up.
They want to know if that's true. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know.
100% true. And this is why it's so true. Because I was that fucking one that name is on that paper. That's mine. That's my name right there.